Welcome back to Rocket Talk. It is now time for the 29th episode, and I am joined by Johnny as always, but Connor is off this week, so we are joined by Michael Cripe. If you listen to the Last of Us mini, then his voice will sound familiar, but for those who didn't, Michael, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, what's up? My name is Michael Cripe. I work with the Escapist. I write news over there daily. And I previously was over at Only SP as an editor. But yeah, like Luke said, you caught me over maybe at the Last of Us podcast where we talked about part two and how not controversial it is at all. And it's
Very not
simple.
controversial.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, so thought I had Michael join us, and it turned out to be a perfect time to join us as we will talk about a certain plumber and his big reveal we had this past week in our topic of the week. But first, going into some nerd news now. Our first topic would be about The Mandalorian. We got the season 2 release date of October 30th. So one, it's just crazy like that with all this pandemic that's been going around. I'm just surprised that this was another one that wasn't delayed, because if they did a lot of their shooting pre-coronavirus, basically shutting everything down. But I am very, very excited for this.
Oh, for sure. Like this is their like debut show for Disney Plus. So this is going to be a big deal, and I honestly I don't know if they've released a trailer or anything yet, but I know zero things about it so far, and I want to keep it that way because I really enjoyed the show.
Yeah,
So,
the show was great. Outside, the only episode I didn't like of the first season was the one on Tatooine, which sure it teased Boba Fett potentially coming back, but like that one, it felt they were relying a little too much on the hey look Star Wars nostalgia. But yeah, that entire first season outside of that was incredible. Those last few episodes especially, oh, so good. The best thing Disney has done with Star Wars.
Oh, for sure. I was surprised the quality jumps because I felt like the first couple episodes were really really strong, and then you had that episode on Tatooine where it was like, who's this random kid? And like, he's not that great of an actor, and like, why is there so much Tatooine going on? And then you get to the last episode that Taika Waititi directed, and it's just like mind-blowingly great. It's every second of it was amazing. So I cannot wait to see what they do with season 2.
Yeah, especially because we're apparently getting Ahsoka from Clone Wars. We're apparently
I
getting
forgot. I
Boba
forgot about
Fett. It is just, it's gonna be insane what all is supposed to be coming for this, and it's just nice because it's just like what we had with Rebels and with Rogue One and Solo. Since we have these big time gaps between the different trilogies, it's nice to get some things like, okay, this is what's going on, and like it's a mess in the galaxy after the Empire falls, and this is showing that because it's set a few years after the Return of the Jedi, and there's still a bunch that's going on with the remnant of the Empire and with the New Republic and all that. So yeah, this is going to be awesome. It's nice too that we got this. We didn't touch on any of the Gamescom stuff last week, but the Lego Star Wars game got delayed to the spring, so it's nice that one Star Wars got delayed, but the other one is still on schedule to come out. So
Yes.
it'll be nice to have, and it'll just be good to have new episodes of stuff, because there's so much that has been delayed, postponed, canceled, and all that because of the pandemic. So it'll be nice to get a new scripted show that will come out in the fall. So that's gonna be great as well.
and one that doesn't cost an additional $30 to watch.
True. I will just be able to enjoy it on my regular Disney Plus subscription. That's not dropping an extra $30 to watch the reason most people have Disney Plus that are Star Wars fans. So, but I mean, speaking of Star Wars and other news with it, John Boyega had a GQ interview this past week that came out, and he talked about how his experience on the set was not the best due to him not being white, and he mentioned all of the other people of color as well. And as three white men, we can't obviously be able to give the exact the right answer and all this stuff, but it was just kind of just sad to see that type of thing, because Boyega is a great actor, and all the actors they have in the sequel trilogy, like there's a lot of incredible actors that maybe did take the back seat with the different movies for one thing or another, and that just was too bad. So I mean, as three white guys, what were some of your guys' thoughts then on the things that he said in this interview?
Obviously, I can't have an opinion of my own really because I'm not involved, but I will say that if he has a problem, it's good that he's speaking up about it and calling people out that deserve to be called out.
Yeah, I'm honestly just so I'm really taken aback because how often do you see stars in these major roles come out and really fire back at these massive companies? Like it doesn't happen that often, especially to this degree. Like I'm happy he's standing up for himself and he's saying something. Because yeah, and you guys see it was a while back now the controversy over how sure was shrunken on the poster in China, I think it was.
Yeah, I remember seeing that as well, and just it's been a lot of weird stuff because like if you think back to the
Yeah,
marketing for Force Awakens, it looks very much like, oh, Finn's gonna be the main character. He's gonna be the Jedi with the lightsaber, and I get you want to subvert expectations, and you see it with Rey, and like it's good to have a strong female lead as well, but also like it was looking like Finn was gonna be a major part of the story, and then really after Episode 7, it just turns into him yelling Ray the whole time. Like that was a joke, but like it kind of is. It's he has his little fling with Rose, and then it's just him yelling for Ray, and that's all that he really does for the next two movies. And it's too bad because his story of he was just a maintenance, a janitor stormtrooper basically, and now he's going to be a Jedi. Like that's so awesome, and it was a nobody character. He wasn't this daughter of daughter of this character, son of that character, and all that. And the one thing with this and everything else that comes out with the issues of the sequel trilogy is the lack of vision that Disney had when they made this. They were just like, hey, let's make more Star Wars movies, and they like
it's so messy.
this on top of the flip flop of stuff that happens in 7, 8, and 9, and just everything that goes on just shows that if they would have just sat down and penned out a rough sketch of what they want, even if it they don't have everything down, where it's like, okay, we're going to introduce these new characters of Rey, Finn, and Poe. Rey's going to be the Jedi. Finn is going to be a Force sensitive guy as well, but he's going to go and he's going to find his own way. And Poe is going to go from this snarky whatever to this. And even if they don't have everything down completely, like the idea of a subplot of Finn and Rose in it together, or this or that, they could have at least had something. So that way, the whole trilogy would have felt like it was one single vision, not 16 different ones in one, and then because people didn't like how one turned out, they got to go change everything. But yeah, it is nice to see that he is speaking out. I know that one of the things that got Boyega to speak out was after Ray Fisher also spoke out about the issues that he had on the Justice League set after Joss Whedon took over directing. So we're getting these actors that are calling out the BS, and that's good. Even against things as big as Disney and Warner Brothers.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I will say that it's important that that like I said, it's important that John Boyega or Ray Fisher are speaking out, and there are some responses and some backlash from fans that are saying you get paid so many dollars, so just why are you complaining? But it's like they're not getting paid. They're getting paid to act, and they do it, and they do a good job. They're not getting paid to keep their mouth shut. So it's like if you have a problem with your job, it doesn't matter how much you're getting paid. There's still an issue, and especially when it comes to anything that's based around their own race. And yeah, they're playing characters and it's not themselves, but when you really boil it down to how important could it really be? We talked last week about how Black Panther is like inspirational to a lot of black people. And so now to see this with John Boyega and Ray Fisher, it's like I'm glad they're speaking out because there should be more equality in these kinds of movies. And if you're, if people out there, if you're the kind of person that says, you get paid a lot to act, so just stick with that. It's like, well, rethink that, because that's not their job, is to keep their mouth shut about problems they have. So
yeah, and like the things he brought up, it's not hard to tell because he talked about how Kelly Marie Tran, how she had You know, like a lot of, I mean, like Rose was like not a liked character by the fans for one reason or other, but like she seemed to be pretty important in Ryan Johnson's interpretation of the films in The Last Jedi, and then Episode 9 comes out and she maybe says 15 lines. You know, and I mean, Oscar Isaac, I know the original plan for Poe was he was going to die in Episode 7, and then they just liked how Oscar Isaac brought to the table, so they brought him back. But like even he too, like, you know, they were propping up Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, and Oscar Isaac as, you know, like these are the three new, you know, the new trio like we had with Luke, Leia, and Han. And you know, in the first movie, it made sense. Okay, we had a little less of Poe because we thought he was dead, but he was still kind of a big pillar. And then they gave him a little more time to shine in 8, but then in 9 again, it just it feels like he took a back seat because they just wanted to focus on, oh look, raise a Palpatine, and just the Episode 9 really just makes me mad as a big Star Wars fan for a lot of the things that it did, and just as much of just an issue that Disney just pulled with this. They just put these movies out, and if they just would have slowed down and actually taken their time, this could have been, you know, a good sequel trilogy, and instead, you know, it really soured a lot of fans. So,
but it's okay because Palpatine's a clone. Remember?
Oh yeah, true.
That was so clear and obvious.
And that we didn't have to read the book to find, or the Palpatine voice clip that they mentioned in the movie is only hearable in the Fortnite event. It's not in the movie. Let's see what other. There's just so much other stuff. But I can go on and on about the issues I have with the sequel trilogy. But no matter what, it is still not as worse as Attack of the Clones. That's the worst Star Wars movie. Don't at me. So, but we can move on to the next Nerd News Now topic. Netflix is actually has launched a watch-free section, so people without a subscription can watch a curated list of a lot of different things on the on the streaming service. So like nothing that most people are going to have to worry about because it seems like everyone has Netflix, and if not, then they have someone that can steal the login for. But you know, stuff like The Two Popes, Bird Box are some of the free titles on there. You know, those are both good movies to watch, and so it's nice for people that either don't have Netflix or maybe money's a little tight and they had to cancel it, but they still want to consume some media. So like this is a nice little thing, even if I feel like there's not really much of an audience for it anymore because, like I said, Netflix is just so big. But I like it.
Say, do we know how many millions of people have Netflix? I can't imagine what the numbers are.
I do not have that right now, but I just know that they're spending enough on it.
Yeah, I would just wonder if like how much if they're really using that as a way to be like, hey, come try out our platform, just because most people steal it from like family members, you know what I mean? But it's just an interesting move. I really wonder the thought process behind it.
Yeah, as of second quarter 2020, according to Statista, Netflix had 72.9 million U.S. subscribers, and at the end of 2019, their subscription base stood at 167 million people. So that I don't know how big Hulu or YouTube Premium or Disney Plus or any of these other premium streaming services are, but I do know that Netflix does have a huge chunk of it. I mean, like Netflix is like Kleenex and and some of those other type of things where it's synonymous with streaming service, Google, things like that, where someone says, let's go Netflix it or something like that, where like
it's just a household name.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a big brand, but it's a cool idea. I don't know how many people this is really going to help, but it's still cool that someone who doesn't have it, can go watch Bird Box and Two Popes and all that. And then moving on then into our final Nerd News Now topic of the week, we did get announced that Star Trek Discovery, the streaming show that's on CBS All Access, is going to introduce the first transgender and non-binary characters to the series, which they will be joining on this new season, including Ian Alexander, who actually, going back to The Last of Us, he was Lev in The Last of Us Part 2. And then we are also getting a non-binary character as well with Blue Del Barrio, who will play a non-binary character as well. And this makes sense because Star Trek is in the future, and so it makes sense that in the future there would be an acceptance of people who identify as transgender or non-binary. And that's kind of been one thing.
Future I would love to live in.
Exactly. Well, that's been one thing that Star Trek really has always been pushing is that if it is in the future, so they always want to give visibility to the underrepresented communities. Like that's been a big thing they've been doing in all of the sequel series, like a strong female character, strong black character, strong Asian. Like there's a lot of strong characters that are different races, gender, sexual orientation, and so having this, it's a no-brainer. Like it's gonna make the the transgender and the non-binary community happy that they can see themselves in something that as big as Star Trek. Like we'll see when it actually comes out, but I feel like they're not gonna have them just be a little thing like what happened in Star Wars, where you have the kiss in the background. It's like, hey, look, there's a gay couple, or like a throwaway line in Avengers. Like it looks like they're actually going to have them be prevalent with their orientation, and so that is just good, I think, for inclusivity. It's gonna piss off a lot of people, but I mean, good. Sorry, it's 2020.
Yeah,
get over
exactly.
So
I'm just happy to see Ian Alexander in another role. I loved him in The Last of Us.
Yeah,
Part
exactly.
2. He's one of my favorite characters.
I'm not much of a Trekkie. I really enjoyed the first two J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies, but outside of that, I haven't really consumed much of the media as much as Offit and Chappell would yell at me for that. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be something that's cool to see. I don't have a CBS subscription, and also, like I said, I don't have much Star Trek attachment, so I don't know how much of this I'll be checking out. But it'll be nice to see season 3 of Discovery having transgender and non-binary characters.
For sure, I'm looking forward to it. I didn't watch the show myself, but I don't know. I like you said, Michael. I also loved Ian Alexander in Last of Us 2. So that might be enough for me to get interested in this show as well.
Yeah, I agree.
So I mean, if you are also a Star Trek fan, hopefully this will make you happy. If you decide to leave watching the show, sorry, whatever. But and then now we can move on into the topic of the week. All right, so now that we're done with nerd news, now we can move into the topic of the week. And guys, Nintendo did it. They finally did it. They didn't give us an official, just standalone direct, which now we are officially a year since that happened, which that's that's kind of annoying. But they finally announced the long rumored Mario 3D ports that are coming. That leaked 6 months ago. But that's not all they did. They did a nice long 15-minute direct. They just dropped out of nowhere, and they announced a bunch of stuff to celebrate Mario's 35th anniversary as the original Super Mario Brothers turns 35 this month. So, honestly, there was just so much good stuff on it. Even some of the minor things that it was nice to go over. So, they kicked it off with a Game & Watch version of Super Mario Brothers. So a new limited edition, Game & Watch that they're going to sell for $50. That's going to be, $200 in a couple years on eBay. But it's a Game & Watch that is in full color LCD screen that you can play Mario 1 and the Lost Levels, plus a bunch of other little features like the classic ball game, but with Mario, clock faces. Just a nice little fun collector item. Luckily, this one is $50. It's not like the Lego NES that's like $250. So
want it, though.
Yeah, I definitely want both of these. But yeah, the Game & Watch comes out November 13th, and they're saying limited production, and I'm sure they limited it even more with the whole pandemic. But this was cool. I'm not seeing myself actually buying this, but it's a nice fun way just to start it off.
Yeah, I think this is a good way to introduce everything else, more because this isn't the big part, this isn't the big thing they want to drop, but it's a really cool thing for, like you said, collectors maybe, which that's not me. But so I'm probably not going to be picking this up. But I am still really happy that they have this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a huge Mario fan, and I don't think I'd get this, but if I was just out and about and I happened to see one on a store shelf or something, I might pick it up just because it is such a novelty.
It's a fun little goofy thing. Like it's it's not as practical as like the NES Game Boy Advance SP that they had, or anything like that. But it's still just fun just to have it, And it's
for sure.
we make fun of Bethesda for putting Skyrim on literally everything, but I mean, how many systems is the original Mario Brothers on now? Counting this as a separate new system, because it's on. You can play it on every single Nintendo system, like in some way, outside of like the Nintendo 64. So it's just crazy, but yeah, definitely a nice light way to start it off. Get some of the collectors excited and be like, hey, look, we're doing a bunch of random stuff too, but. The next thing they announced is another one that is not surprising, but finally it's coming. The 3D World port is now announced officially, so that'll come out February 12th, 2021. So now with this and Pikmin coming out in a few weeks, we have basically every major first-party Wii U game has either been ported or has gotten a sequel. So this was one of the last ones, that was left, and so we're finally getting it, as well as the Bowser Fury subtitle, which outside of them showing a little tease, we know nothing about. And we also got announced that wasn't in the direct, but in the press release, a Cat Mario and Cat Peach amiibos are also coming as well. So. Do you guys have any idea what this extra content is going to be? They don't have the deluxe title like they had with New Super Mario Brothers U. Are they going to put new characters? Is this Bowser Fury thing going to be a whole new side story? What What do you think we're getting with this deluxe version of the game?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys follow Emily Rogers over on Twitter, but she's a Nintendo insider of sorts. She's a big Nintendo fan too, and she was kind of talking about the 3D World port, and she was saying that it's the most impressive port that they have done so far by a mile, or at least that's how I gathered it. So I'm really hoping that this Bowser's Fury thing. I hope that we get to play as Bowser at some point, Cat Bowser. That was such a fun reveal at the end of that game. Yeah, Meowser, exactly. It was such a fun reveal at the end of that game. When he starts using cherries and getting all crazy and everything, and that's my hope. I hope we get to play at least some portion of that that DLC, that add-on content as him. But other than that, they're changing all kinds of things and adding new features to the base game. It looks like it plays a little bit faster.
Yeah, Game Explain had a video that showed that where it looks like because that is one of the complaints that you do see a lot with 3D World is that it's a little slow and sluggish for some people, and then I think that the one of the coolest is online multiplayer. So it'd be one that all three of us would be able to online co-op it, in three different states, different parts of the country and all that. So like that, and if that runs well, i.e. not like Mario Maker, then that's gonna be awesome. So yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's a beautiful.
I'm really looking forward to this. Because we have so little information on Bowser's Fury. I'm wondering if there's a chance that maybe possibly the gameplay is different than the core game. Because Game Explain did hint at the idea that maybe it's more open world. Maybe it's less the camera following you or a camera is like in a set path, but maybe it'll follow you from place to place in a larger area, which would be super cool. Have a little bit more flexibility with what you want to do. Go kind of wherever you want in certain levels. That would be in rather than get to the end of a certain level, it's more like completing an objective within the sandbox that you have.
I feel like if this game would have came out closer to Odyssey, to Odyssey's release and Odyssey's lifespan, I feel like that would have been a no-brainer. Like the new content is going to be something Odyssey related, where we're going to get maybe a semi more open world like you get in Odyssey, or a 3D world style levels in New Donk City or this or that. But now that it's by the time this comes out, it'll be 3+ years. I wonder if they're going to take some ideas from Odyssey, and then also, what if they use the Bowser Fury content to also tease whatever they do next, in an Odyssey 2 or a 3, whatever that could be, because maybe they do a hybrid of those two, like, because 3D World is kind of a hybrid of the 2D style in a 3D plane, and what if they figured out a way to do another hybrid of that with the 3D collectathon like you have with 64 and Odyssey and Sunshine and all that?
That would be super
Don't
cool.
do this to me. You're getting me too excited.
Yeah,
It sounds so good.
That would be great.
I do have wonder. So back in 2013, when Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze was on the Wii U, they announced that Dixie Kong was going to be new and playable. Obviously, in Returns, DK and Diddy were playable, and then Tropical Freeze added Dixie Kong, and they had not yet announced that Cranky Kong was going to be playable for that game until months later. Do you think that they might be doing the same tactic and having only showing the already existing characters playable with maybe more to announce down the line?
Oh, for sure. They're gonna.
Have is who we have.
I'm gonna be shocked if they don't add a new playable character, like whether that is. I'm trying to think of who they like could add. Like what would be funny just to piss off fans is just add Waluigi and nothing else. Just because since he's never been in an official like mainline Mario game, he's always been in all the spin-offs and sport games. So one, you have that, and then two, all the Waluigi for Smash crowd, like they don't get their wish, but then just like the mainline Mario fans, they get him even though they don't want it either. But I wouldn't be surprised. Just let's say it is Wario and Waluigi just for this like idea. They'll watch him announce like Wario like leading up to the game, and they don't announce Waluigi, so then you find him in the game. That would be a nice surprise instead of giving us everything right away. But I bet we're gonna get another character or two, plus whatever the Bowser Fury thing is. But I just don't know who they would add. Wario is a joke, but like that's one they could add.
My best guess personally is either Yoshi or Daisy.
Mm-hmm.
But
Daisy.
they didn't add Yoshi, or people assumed that they didn't add Yoshi because you had Plessy in there as kind of a Yoshi-like friend, and then there were some abilities that, if you had Yoshi with his abilities, it would have seemingly overpowered. But it's like, no, not. I think that there's definitely ways that they could, go around it and have Yoshi.
And with all these ports, they've been like a lot of the other Wii U ports, like Tropical Freeze and New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. They did add like a easy mode then too, so maybe Yoshi could be their easy mode, so then like that could be the one you give the little brother or the little cousin the controller for, and because of the moves that Yoshi would have, that can make it where it's a little less, it's a little more forgiving for a younger or a less skilled gamer. And then maybe they could add him, and then they could add like a Wario as like a hard mode where he has a even shorter jump than everyone else, and he's a little bit slower because he's fatter. Like, yeah, there's
great.
Yeah, I feel like Daisy could be a good one too, and if they did something that's kind of like how Luigi has a little bit of the floaty or jump compared to Mario, if they did something like that where she is like Peach but just a little different enough that it doesn't feel like it's just a Peach skin. But yeah,
you mentioned Wario, and it makes me think like first thing I thought it was Wario in a cat suit, but then I was like, you know what? If Wario's in it, he's not going to be Cat Wario. He's going to be Dog Wario.
Yeah, probably.
Like just imagine Dog Wario just running around and slowly
in Wario voice, like like barking then too. Like he beats a level and he goes yes, and then he goes bark.
That's perfect. That's the content I need.
But yeah, I'm excited for this too. I did not have a Wii U, so I missed out on 3D World and a lot of these other games. And I always liked the 3D World levels on Mario Maker 2. I feel like I am in the minority there because people didn't like the 3D World style as much, but I love it, and so I'm excited to actually be able to experience the actual 3D World game and play through that. So a little bummed we have to wait till February. But still excited for that one.
You did mention earlier briefly that it's got online co-op, which is unheard of for Nintendo to do.
Yeah.
Um, so that's big news for a game like this. That like I'm shocked. Like all of us can play together, and that's great. Like just the idea of that is not very typical Nintendo, but I'm really glad they're coming around.
Yeah, and if that one, like I said, if that one, if it's online works more akin to how well online usually works on Smash and Mario Kart, while it's still not perfect, that'd be good because if it does play like Mario Maker, then it's just a wasted feature. Because I don't know how much of online you guys have ever played on Mario Maker 2, but it's rough. So
It is.
very rough. So yeah, this is awesome. I like outside of the big announcement, this one was the one I was the most excited for. So definitely a good one. But the next one they announced was one that would probably be just a notch below. I was of the 3D World port, Super Mario Brothers 35. So it is basically the Mario 1 version of Tetris 99. So it's going to be a free to play game for Nintendo Switch Online players. That it actually reminds me a lot of, there was this Battle Royale Mario game, fan game, that Nintendo basically nuked off the internet because Nintendo like won't let you have anything. Like they're not like Sega, where like, yeah, sure, do this fan game. But like, Nintendo's like, oh, you're doing this, all right, goodbye. And even after they changed it, and so it wasn't Mario, they were still like, nope, you got to delete this. So it looks like
funny how opposite Sega and Nintendo are in that regard. Because Sega's like, here, fans, make a Sonic game, and Nintendo is no.
Nintendo's like, you're trying to. Well, I mean, like the Mario 64 PC port, like good luck trying to find that online now, like without having to go to some sketch site. So because Nintendo just removes it every time. But yeah, so this one it'll be like Tetris 99. So you'll be playing through like a modified version of the original Super Mario Brothers. And when you defeat enemies, it will send the Goombas and the Koopa Troopas to the other 34 players that are going against you. And so just like Tetris 99, you just want to be the last player standing, or like every other battle royale like Call of Duty Warzone or Fortnite. But it's it's a very Nintendo spin on it. So this had me super excited because Tetris 99 is actually my second or third most played game on the Switch, behind Animal Crossing, and then either it's ahead or just below Mario Maker. So I love Tetris 99, and getting a Mario version of it is going to be awesome. The only sad thing is they announced it's only playable to the end of March. So I think it was Game Explained. Someone mentioned maybe they're doing this because then they're going to do a Mario 3 35 and a Mario World 35. And so maybe, hopefully that means that, okay, this version will go away, and then every few months they'll bring it back with the newer Mario style, so you add some more moves. But I'm just bummed that this is only going to exist from October 1st to the end of March. Like, this looks awesome, but
I think this is the single most Nintendo thing I've ever seen in my life. It's like this weird Tetris 99 spin-off kind of thing, and it's like, oh my god, that's a great idea. And they're like, don't you think so? You can only play it for a couple months. Like, I don't know. I don't know why they make these decisions, but I'm so excited to play it. It's going to be a blast. It's so weird. I just can't get over how weird it is.
It's very Nintendo.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I unlike you, Luke, I never really gave Tetris 99 a fair shake. I just saw it's Tetris in a new way, and I played it once, and I think I put it down right away. But I'm going to, because Super Mario Brothers 35 is only temporary. I'm definitely going to give it more of a chance, because I'm never going to be able to play it again after March. And if I like it, and I'm guessing I will, I'm probably going to try to pick up Tetris 99 then and try it again. But yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. But I think you're definitely right with the theories that they're going to have a new version out after March. I think that's probably the plan.
Yeah, I mean, it's another one that, like, yeah, Nintendo does a lot of weird things, but this would just be like it would just be a dumb decision, because I feel like this is going to be very popular, because Tetris 99 is very popular as well. So hopefully that they're doing that, and it'd be fun, because one of the things that Tetris 99 does is they'll do different events every month or so, where they'll do collaborations with other games. So like when Animal Crossing comes out, when Paper Mario comes out, like they'll probably do one for Pikmin and for Mario 35th anniversary, where the Tetris board, the background, and the sound effects are all themed from those games. And then if you get enough points, you unlock that theme to use whenever. So like when Abby plays Tetris 99, it's the Animal Crossing theme, and so it'll have a bunch of different sound effects from Animal Crossing instead of the regular one. And it'd be cool if they did stuff like that too, where like they changed the World 1 level 1 background to something Zelda related, or something Pikmin, or even if they want to do it for Sonic, like something Sonic related too, just to really just show how far we've come since the 90s. But yeah, I hope this lasts more than March, even if that means technically there's like a successor with a Mario 335 or a Zelda 35, maybe even too, or something like that, with Zelda's anniversary coming up. But this was definitely a very cool thing. And then Nintendo, I was shocked with this next one at first, because at first I thought it was a different game in the series with Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. At first I was like, oh my gosh, they're announcing Mario Kart 9 during this too? But no, instead it is in partnership with Velion Studios. It's sort of a Toys to Life type of game, something kind of like what we had with Skylanders and Lego Dimensions and all that, where you'll have a Mario Kart where Mario's in just the standard cart like you would have in Mario Kart 8, and you put these little gates down in your house to make a track. And so then there's a camera on the cart that it will record it on an RC car, and you'll have an augmented reality Mario Kart game that you'll be playing in your house. So you're playing on the Switch, and then the little Mario Kart RC car is driving around your room. And if you go and use go over a boost pad or use a mushroom, the cart will speed up. If you hit a banana peel or a blue shell, the physical cart will stop. And so this was another one of those where just like, why? But like, awesome type of things. Like no one was asking for this, and Nintendo's like, we'll give it to you. So this is coming out October 16th, and it's going to be $100 to either get a Mario or Luigi. And so outside of maybe more characters, which we can discuss in a second, what are your guys' thoughts on this Mario Kart spinoff?
I am absolutely pumped for this. I cannot wait. This is kind of like everything that I want in a package. Like the lack of choices is something we can get to in a moment. But as far as like the content itself, the game itself, it is I'm hoping that the novelty does not wear off right away, and I hope I can like have a lot of fun with this, because it looks like it could be a blast.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because one thing I hope is, so it is only Mario and Luigi right now. We don't have Toad, Yoshi, etc. Like, there's so many characters that are out there. Down the line, are they going to expand on this? If this game sells well, are they going to put out a Toad and a Peach set, a Bowser set? Where you can have them, in a few years, like when they finally stop supporting the game, do you have most of the regular cast of characters, or are there going to be ways that you can make bigger and bigger tracks, or what? Like, yeah, there's a lot of questions that hopefully, this isn't like some of the others, like Labo, where they just kind of put a couple out and then they're like, that's it, or like Ring Fit, they're still supporting, and so I hope this gets it too.
I just love how experimental Nintendo's been this console generation. Like, between Labo and this, like, there's so many fun things you can. Yeah, Ring Fit. Like, there's so many fun things you can do with the Switch, and I feel like they're just scratching the surface. But I'm curious to see how this sells. I feel like it's either not going to sell well at all, and we won't hear about it ever again, or it's going to sell like crazy, and they're going to put out all these new drivers and all these new track parts you can get. Like, I hope it sells well. It's just such a weird thing. Like, I'm worried that like parents buying it for their kids won't understand exactly what it is, and that you need a Switch for it and all these things. But
yeah, hopefully,
I love it.
Yeah, hopefully. Because you go to Walmart and Target, they have all the games behind the glass. Hopefully, it's they're not, outside of parents maybe buying something on Amazon and don't realize it. Hopefully, since a lot of these stores, they'll be able to make sure, okay, you have a Switch for this, right?
That's true.
Because otherwise, Nintendo has done a bad job at marketing their stuff in the past, i.e., the Wii U. So hopefully
What are you talking about?
they've learned from their mistakes. It seemed like they've learned from a lot of the mistakes from the Wii U, and so I'm sure in big bold letters somewhere on the box it's going to say Nintendo Switch system not included, or something where it's not in such fine print that Grandma Jenny is not going to buy it for little Timmy and not realize that he can't use it. So. It's very cool though. I am excited to see that.
Yeah, I'm. This is the one thing that like it's so much of this whole event is new games that are just being reworked or changed in some way. But this is the first thing that is actually new, like brand new, not a new version or a port or a new twist on an old game, a Mario game. But this is a brand new thing, and so that's what's got me hyped about this. I want to say more than anything else, but I'm going to say almost more than anything because of something that's coming out next week. So,
yeah, but it is crazy because like you mentioned, like Mario 35 is a modified version of Mario 1, and Game & Watch and the 3D World ports are ports. So it's cool that, and it's just such an out of left field Nintendo thing to do, like in all of this as well. It's like in the midst of, hey, here's this Wii U game that we've been holding off for forever, and here's this weird quirky online game. Oh, here's a new Mario Kart, as well. That's gonna, be, completely different from anything else before it. So, yeah, I'm excited for this. And then after that, they did kind of a sizzle reel of a bunch of Mario events, and then a bunch of products as well. So things like My Nintendo has a bunch of Mario missions that if you complete that, you get a set of pins. Their Mario Kart Tour actually starting the day after this episode is recorded, and then the day before this episode goes live, Mario Kart Tour is getting a Super Nintendo style Donkey Kong Jr. and Mario characters for a Mario Kart event from the 8th to the 22nd. Smash, Mario Maker, Splatoon, Animal Crossing are all getting some sort of Mario-themed event in the coming months with a Smash tournament, a Ninja speed run for Mario Maker, a Splatfest after Nintendo's like, we're done with Splatfests, and then Mario-themed furniture for Animal Crossing. So we're doing all that, and one that wasn't announced during the Direct, but also it is going on right now, is the eShop has a Mario skin makeover where the loading screen's a little Mario 64 Mario, and the orange sidebar is now red and mentions a bunch of Mario games, and they did some product announcements of Mario Pumas, and the online stores getting merchandise, clothes collaborations, bringing up the Lego and Jenga and Monopoly sets and all that. So we got a lot of fun little things there too, just to kind of tie you over before they announced some of the bigger things again. But outside of maybe getting some Mario Animal Crossing furniture, was there really anything else that like is this Mario Kart Tour thing gonna get you to play the game again, or a lot of this stuff just like cool, whatever?
Not for me.
Yeah, I'm on the outside. Or I play Mario Kart Tour a lot, and I don't know why. It's a horrible game, but for whatever reason, when they announced the little SNES sprites that they're gonna have in the game, I lost my mind. I'm so excited to go try and get those. I've been saving up like my gems and everything. I can't stop playing it. It's really a sickness, and I need someone to help me, please, because it's not a very good game. But I can't stop playing it. I just can't believe they're still doing Splatfests. I love them. I love Splatoon 2. It's an amazing game. So I think I might jump into that.
Nintendo mentioned that they were done, and then they're just like, LOL, JK. I bet it's because this was probably going to be the last Splatfest, and it was going to be earlier than January. But then because of all this stuff with COVID, they wanted to wait until after this announcement and then do it later on, and then this will be the final thing. But but it makes sense too. I'm surprised they didn't announce anything for Tetris 99. I'm sure there's one coming or anything else. But yeah, it's a lot of good stuff. What about you, Johnny? Any of these things really gonna get you to jump into some of these games again?
Not really. I mean, I think I've been putting down Animal Crossing for a while, and I think that I might pick it back up, maybe for some Mario themed furniture. Some of the stuff looks pretty cool, but a lot of these are games that I either put down and probably not going to pick up for a while again, or never really got into. Like Mario Kart Tour, Splatoon 2, and Mario Maker 2 are all games that I've tried, played, and kind of, you know, had my fill of. But Animal Crossing is one that I always find myself coming back to. So I think pretty soon I'm gonna pick it back up, and you know, hopefully there's, even if it's not games that I enjoy. I'm
Yeah,
just really glad that they're doing the best that they can to extend the Mario appreciation to so many other games.
yeah. Like I'll go do the ninja speed run because each time you get your little ninja stamp, you once you hit so many, you get a bunch of outfits for your character that I still don't change. My guy still has his Mario World hoodie that Mario's running and his bullet bill legs and the 8-bit Mario hat that I have. Like I still haven't changed that, and I probably won't change that because I love that outfit, but it'll be nice to be able to get more outfits then as well. You know, and then the other products is like, cool, still not going to probably buy the Lego set, or, you know, I didn't look at any of the Black Milk clothing collaboration that's coming in October, but I'm sure it's going to be way too expensive. So I'm just, you know, maybe some of this merchandise, like at the Nintendo website, maybe some of that will be cool. Maybe I'll cop a shirt, but I doubt it. But the penultimate announcement they had as well, which was one I was doing before we recorded, is the original Super Mario All Stars was added to the SNES Online service, so you can now play the Super Nintendo remakes of Mario 1, 2, 3, and Lost Levels. And so that was a shadow drop that came out the day of the Direct, which was fun because, you know, actually my first exposure to Mario 3 was the Game Boy version, which is a enhanced version of the Super Nintendo version. So the a lot of the art style that I'm more familiar with the game is more in the Super Nintendo-esque style. So I've been replaying Mario 3 on that version as well recently. But nice little fun thing, like one that, you know, definitely wasn't asked for, but it's just nice to have.
For
Just
sure.
a
To tide
little
us over.
extra, like, hey, you know, just like when they put it on the Wii for one of the last Mario anniversaries. It's like, hey, this is here, like, cool. You know, I'll get my nice, you know, few hours out of it, but I wasn't, you know, clamoring at the bits for this one, but it's still a nice gesture from Nintendo.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a
I
good game. One of my favorite Mario games from the Super Nintendo. I mean, because it's a compilation, of course, but having so many options just shadow dropped like this is a really good addition. So,
I remember being younger, and I was lucky enough to have a SNES in my house, and one of the first games I ever played was that All Star Collection. So I definitely turned it on after it dropped on the shop, and I just to get that like shot of nostalgia. You know, like it was so cool to turn that on and see like the um, shadows of all the characters talking and everything, and then the music kicks in. It's such a cool game, and I hope everyone tries it out.
Yeah, it's fun. I just beat World 2 on Mario 3, and then I was also playing a little bit of Mario 1. I did the warp pads, but I was on World 5 from doing the couple of the warp pads, or warp pipes to me. But yeah, it's definitely cool. But then they announced the big one, the one that we have been waiting for since it leaked in March. Super Mario 3D All Stars is it's true. Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy are all coming, and the crazy part is
thank goodness.
they're coming out September 18th. So a little over a week after this episode goes live, they'll be out. And so all three have been, you know, optimized for Switch. So the Mario 64 will have Rumble support. Galaxy and Sunshine will be in widescreen and will be in HD. Galaxy will have motion controls as an option, so you can play with two Joy-Con and use one of them like you would use the Wii remote, or you can just play in handheld or just without motion controls and with the stick. And you know, I'm sure there's gonna be other features we're gonna find out once we physically get the game as well. I know the Mario 64 textures, some of them have been reworked, especially all of your HUD textures. All of those have been uh, a needed upgrade, so they'll be a little easier to see, especially if you're playing handheld. But yeah, it's gonna be great. And then just like with Smash, there is a ability to listen to all the soundtracks in the game, and just like in Smash, you can listen to it with the screen off. So that's really cool. And then we can get to the elephant room in a second, but more just first off, how excited were you guys when you finally saw that this is true and not just a rumor that we've been looking at for 6 months?
Pumped, like beyond pumped. Like I'm so many, like there's so many games that are iconic to the Mario series, but nothing really comes as is as big as these three games right here. I mean, you have so many spin-offs, like you have Paper Mario, and you have sports titles and Mario Kart and Mario Party, but these are
Well,
the core Mario games, and
and
these are
and the
like
only ones
the most iconic.
and the only ones that really are up there as iconic as these are like Mario 1, 3, and Super Mario World, but those have been
Yeah.
re-released to death because think about it, like that was one of the first games when they added Nintendo Switch Online, when they added the NES. First games were added were the original Mario games. When the Super Nintendo one, Mario World, was added. So like when the eShops first went live for the virtual consoles, like those were always the first games added, and there's been multiple versions of it. Yeah, sure, we had the DS version remake of 64, and then the Wii U virtual console ports, but 64, it has not been ported nearly as much as the Nintendo and Super Nintendo games. This is the first time that we're getting Sunshine outside of the GameCube. So this is the first time that
Oh yeah.
a non GameCube or Wii system will be playing this. And then yeah, sure, Galaxy has been re-released on the Wii U as a digital download, but like yeah, it's these games are accessible to one of Nintendo's most successful consoles now, and on top of that, like we're getting a nice upgrade to them, and also all three games together in one bundle, like it's a good it's just a really good thing. Sure, would have been nice if they would have rebuilt them completely from the ground up like they did with the 2D Super Mario All Stars. Yeah, sure, but also at the same time, I wonder if they would have done that if people would have been mad, because as great as the Crash and Spyro remakes are, there are people that are upset with those trilogy remakes because the physics are different. They unified the physics for the Crash games, so Crash 1 on Insane Trilogy does not play like the PS1 Crash 1, and there's some weird quirks with some of the vehicles in Crash 3 compared to the PS1 version, and so there's a lot of stuff like that people weren't happy about, and a remake from the ground up to where all three games look like Mario Odyssey level graphics would have been great, but also then when things aren't the same, people would have been mad.
I'm definitely excited. Don't get me wrong. I have played Sunshine to death, and I'm going to continue to play it to death on my Switch now on the go. I have concerns. Obviously, there is the elephant in the room with everything. And as far as remaking them goes, yeah, I don't think there's. I feel like Galaxy control wise is like near perfect, and so in Super Mario 64 is like it reinvented the wheel, and changing any of that I feel like would be doing that game a disservice. But the only one that I think needed a really solid remake is Super Mario Sunshine. But you're not going to remake that and then put out the original game. So I think as far as just remastering them and making them look a little cleaner, I think that's all great, and I'm so excited. I'm Super Mario Sun. If you know me, Super Mario Sunshine is my favorite game ever. And I'm
So good.
worried because did you say it's so good?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
good.
I forgot to mention this earlier. Like it's funny that we get the Mario announcement finally, and like two of the people I know that love Sunshine the most are you guys. Like where, like Sunshine definitely is the most divisive out of these three games, but it's like you two both love it so much.
It's
Johnny, I had
so
no
yeah.
idea.
Yes, right. Like this is it's so. I'm glad to know another person now that loves it as much as I do, because like you said, it's 64 and Galaxy both have other ways of accessing it, but it's so hard to find anywhere. And I haven't played it myself in over a decade. I played 64 about 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, when it was on the Wii U eShop. But I've never even beaten Galaxy because I've tried it twice and I just kind of fell off of it. I think it's a fantastic game. I just stopped playing it, but this will be a great opportunity because like I mean I'm gonna play them in order. I'm gonna play 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy, but I'm just so looking forward to getting to Sunshine and just reminiscing and just being in full on nostalgia with the game because oh my gosh, it's such a good game, such a like peaceful game and such a like a just a the music is just so great. I
Top
can't
notch.
stop gushing about how great of a game it is.
Yeah.
I just appreciate so much how I'm gonna try not to gush too much, but it's just for me, just seeing, they get off of Super Mario 64 and they're like, what do we do for a sequel? And they didn't play it safe. It's such a weird game with flood and like I don't know. I just appreciate how weird it is, and it's still fun. And I know it has its
Yeah,
problems like blue coins, but I'm really
sure.
worried with the remaster. About the pressure sensitive trigger things. I tweeted about this recently, just because on the GameCube that game was made for that console and that controller. So I don't know how Flood is going to feel with just like the Joy-Con controllers or the Pro controller. Whereas I'm sure Galaxy will feel beautiful and 64 if it will feel amazing. I'm concerned about Sunshine, but I'm sure I'm still going to love it. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait another second.
Then there's one that I
I
was
love it.
surprised about too. Nintendo came out and did say that the GameCube controller will not work on Sunshine, even though you can use it on Smash, and that's just like that's a huge blunder. Hopefully they can go and they can put out a patch that will add that because like I feel like that wouldn't be that's just a huge oversight if they didn't think about this. Like yeah, with that game being designed for the pressure triggers in mind, like they almost have to do that. So hopefully in the trailer that you mentioned that he couldn't get it because they took away his pressure triggers. Hopefully they are poking fun at that and they know like hey we see this just because of time constraints it's not going to come right away. But who knows too with time constraints even if it is going to come. But
They're
that's
just
just
so
a
proud. Sorry, yeah, they're just so proud of how they were talking about in the trailer how each game's been optimized for Nintendo Switch, and I see that with 64 and Galaxy, and I hope that they eventually see that maybe Sunshine didn't get that same amount of love, and they do make the GameCube controller available to use with it because I'm worried it's going to feel a little empty without it, but
Yeah. And so let's hit up the elephant in the room then. So the game is getting a limited release, which due to the pandemic and okay, that makes sense. For it physically. And just in general, a anniversary title, okay, like before they reprinted it, the Wii version of Super Mario All Stars was a limited release, and then once it like hit the once it hit the resale market and people were reselling them for astronomical prices, Nintendo's like, okay, we'll reprint it. But Nintendo is making the game limited both physically and digitally. So they haven't given an official date, but they said around the end of March 2021, you won't be able to buy the game anymore. Either way. And I just want to know, first off, one, why? Two, why? Like, I don't know. This out of there's a lot of things. Like, I'll defend Nintendo releasing 3 games with a little bit of optimization for $60 when full remakes of classic games are selling for less. Because like it spending $60 for these games instead of spending $40 for a complete remake of the Tony Hawk games, like I get it. Technically, it's a better bargain for the Tony Hawk one, but like you're still getting a good deal buying 3 incredible games for $60. But why limit it? Physical, I don't care. Like that's fine. You can only run a few thousand copies of that because like it is a pandemic and also like that is a thing. But taking it away digitally, and they'll probably make it so you're gonna have to run through a bunch of hoops with Nintendo support if you delete it or get a new Switch or anything like that. Why do this?
I don't know.
I
It's
don't
absolutely
know.
infuriating.
Honestly, yeah, it makes no sense to me.
So the only
Like
the only ways that I can really see that can justify this is one of two ways. They're going to re-release the games as individual purchases after this. So like you spend $60 in September 2020 to get all three games in one, or down the line you can spend $25 to get the games by themselves. There's that, or there's they're going to do this, and then in a couple years, they're going to be over the next few years, they'll be adding the Nintendo 64 or the Nintendo GameCube or the Nintendo Wii to as a benefit for Nintendo Switch Online, or just bringing back the Virtual Console for those systems, and then again those games will be there. That's the only thing I can think of where like it's not completely shitty of Nintendo to do this, but I don't see how Nintendo can do this and like not like think they're doing anything wrong here.
It just makes me so mad
I think
because I just feel like I've been waiting since I played this game when I was a kid for other people to experience, because like you were saying earlier, yeah, like this game has only ever existed on a GameCube disc, and you can play it on your Wii, sure, but now it's expensive to buy. And like, so to see it come out, I was so happy that everyone would get a chance to experience my favorite game, and now you're telling me that in a couple of months no one's going to be able to do that again. They're going to have to borrow it from their friend or something. Like, that's the best option you have. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
It's honestly, it's gross.
Yeah, so
I don't even know what to call it.
I searched it here right now on like the Google Shopping option. There is a copy of Mario Sunshine that is selling for $389 plus shipping. But most of your copies of Mario Sunshine, if you're going to buy it, you're looking anywhere from about $60 to about $90. And yeah, like I said, like this is only on the GameCube, and so only a GameCube and a Wii or an emulator. But not everyone has a PC that can run GameCube emulated games well. Same issue with the 64 and all that. So yeah, this is a hard game to find and play now. And then okay, now you have an easier way to play it, but then Nintendo's just gonna turn around and make it hard to find again, just on two consoles now instead. So I want to know more. Like what are their plans with this? Are they going to change their minds and leave it up, or are they going to split it up? I just if they can just tell us. That's the bigger thing, is they're not communicating. All these websites and publications are reaching out for clarification, and they're just not responding.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say that I think you're right that the reason that Nintendo is only selling it temporarily is because they're probably gonna have plans to sell them individually later. And I think I don't know, like I think it's kind of like I would hope that they would I wish, if that is the truth, I would hope that they would say that ahead of time. Because if you want all three, you can get all three now, or you can just wait for the individual one you want for slightly cheaper later on. But it just seems a little, if that's not the plan, and we don't know for sure if it is or not, then what is the plan? Because right now it's kind of, we're in the dark as like, what exactly does this mean for the future of gaming, or at least the future of Nintendo, if they have plans to release games temporarily and then absolutely just shut off production for some things. I mean, of course, I do take into consideration that this is, a very special case where it's the 35th Mario anniversary, but still, like that, it just seems a little weird. But I don't know. We'll I guess we'll find out in March, hopefully.
Yeah, well, just like I get Nintendo's always done things differently. I mean, the fact is, Breath of the Wild is still $60. Maybe some places you can get it for $50, but outside of the occasional sale, Breath of the Wild's still full price, and that game is about to be 4 years old, where you can go right now to any store and buy Spider-Man PS4, which just actually hit its 2-year anniversary, and that game's going to be $20. You can get God of War for $20. You can get the original Last of Us for $20. The Last of Us 2 pretty soon is going to be a lot cheaper, and those are also games that are game of the years and best game of all time lists as well. Like, those are some incredible games as well. But Sony and even though I didn't mention the Xbox games and Microsoft, after a while they they'll discount their games so then more people can play it. Nintendo, like I get that they have such a high quality with some of these games, but them doing that has always been kind of like, that kind of sucks. Like I want to be able to go and like, there's so many Switch games that are on my backlog that I haven't played because I just don't have $60 to drop on all of them, where I have to pick and choose which ones I want, and then new ones come out, and then it clutters the list because I haven't played things like Luigi's Mansion 3 or Breath of the Wild or anything like that, and it's a lot harder to play those when I want to get those, and then this comes out and that comes out. So it's just frustrating with that, but then it's more frustrating that now, you won't even have the chance. They just will take it away, and unless they are doing an individual sale or an updated version down the line that maybe includes Galaxy 2, I just don't. This is one of the like worst business practices that Nintendo has ever done. If they do end up just removing it and just like that's it.
Yeah,
it is explicitly anti-consumer.
Yeah, and like I said, I'll defend a lot of the other stuff with it. I was getting into it on Twitter with a smaller YouTuber, and then a bunch of his followers with their anime profile pictures were replying at me, and it's just like, I don't like. You can't get, if you're gonna get mad at Nintendo for releasing ports of games with only like slight up-reses, then get mad at every other like publisher out there. Because sure, Activision did go and they redid Tony Hawk and the Crash games from the ground up, and they sold them for cheaper, and it's and especially the Crash Team Racing and the Tony Hawk remasters definitely seemed like a very much of a passion project for the developers. But also Activision sold you Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered as a game you could originally only get if you got the Legacy Edition of Infinite Warfare for $80, and then once you bought it, you had to keep your disc of Infinite Warfare, even though Modern Warfare Remastered was a digital game, because you had to keep your disc so you could play it. And then on top of that, they sold you the DLC pack that was $10 on the PS3 and Xbox 360 for $15 just because it came with some loot crates. And like, and they obviously got slammed for that, as they should have, but like they did that, and it was allowed to happen. And then Nintendo puts out 3 games that are like one of them is one of the most influential 3D games of all time, and then the other 2 are beloved classics. And like, just because they didn't remake them from the ground up, like now they're getting backlash, and that's not like, they don't deserve that, but they deserve the backlash for them potentially just removing the game 6 months after it comes out, just because.
I will say it is a bummer in a post Crash and Spyro 3D remastered gaming world that we're not getting a remastered version of Super Mario 64. But I'm not sad that they didn't do it. It's kind of like, oh, that's one thing extra we didn't get, but it's not like that's really a loss, because the game has always been the way it is. So for people not to think that, for people to be upset that Nintendo didn't go the extra mile to make things like as great with graphics as Odyssey is for all 3 games, it's like, well, did you really expect that? Like, you can't really expect that. And even if they don't do that, it's still it's worth more than or it should be worth more than $60. But for it to be only $60 with knowing Nintendo, that is, you are never going to see something like that ever again. So
well, think about it. Like, think about all the Wii U ports that went over to Switch that are $60, and like they add things, but like they don't really add things that would really make it fully necessary to buy it for $60 again. And now here you're getting these 3 games, and sure. You can go buy Mario 64 on the Wii U eShop on the Virtual Console for what, like $8, and you can buy Galaxy for $20. And so like there's like, you can get those for about $30, and but then you have to track down a $90 version of Sunshine and dust out a Wii or a GameCube to play that. But it's like, this is a great deal. Something that's very anti-Nintendo. Like, they don't do this. Like, the only other time they really did this was Mario All-Stars, and that that was almost 30 years ago. So this is great. The other, before we kind of wrap it up on this, the other question I have too is, where is Galaxy 2? Like,
I can only assume it's I can only assume it's an optimization issue. Maybe they're worried about some of the like Yoshi stuff, because if I remember right, there's some weird motion control things with that game. Maybe that's it, but like, or maybe they were thinking, oh, that's too much. We don't want to charge them too much money. But I don't know. It's so weird to not see it there when we do have Galaxy, and a lot of people think Galaxy 2 is the better game too. So
Well, what's crazy too is so after they announced the game, there were still like 5 minutes left of the direct, and I was like, wait, what? And so it is. They just did like a nice little like just retrospective thing that went over all the Mario games, and it went over a good chunk of them. It skipped. It skipped a few, like it only did the first Super Mario Land. It didn't do the sequels, and it only did a couple of the new Super Mario Brothers games. But they just completely skipped over Galaxy 2. Like they just were like, nope. And then they even had a little thing that they showed a bunch of like some of the sports and spin-off games, like the Paper Mario and the Mario parties. They showed Mario and Sonic, but again, no Galaxy 2. Like, yeah, and when it's your game that's considered by some the better version of the two Galaxy games, why are you just completely ignoring it?
I think I think it makes kind of sense that it's not part of the collection, because it is the newest one, and I think that they know that they can get away with selling a three game compilation rather than a 4 game compilation. And the fact that it is a sequel would kind of take away from maybe a little bit more of the other two. Like, let's say a brand new person is going into it. Why did 64 not get a true sequel, or Sunshine not get a true sequel, but Galaxy did? And if somebody got this 4 game compilation, and they might jump in and say, oh, Galaxy and Galaxy 2 are the best, why would anyone ever even want the first two?
But I mean, they did that with All Stars. All Stars was 4 games because you had Lost
Right,
Levels and
but I
then
mean,
Mario Bros. 2, and it's kind of the same
yeah.
thing. Mario 1 and Mario 3 are considered way better than 2 and Lost Levels.
Right, but I think that that not including it in the compilation makes sense, but not including it in the best of, or like the history of Mario thing, is kind of like they purposefully did that. Whereas like if they didn't include Land 2 and Land 3, like that makes sense because like the first one's there, that's really what is important. But the fact that they didn't include Galaxy 2, which is, like you said, one of the highest rated games of Mario of all time, one of the highest rated Mario games of all time. It's kind of like they must have been like, ooh, should we include it? Like, do we want to remind people that happened and like make people beg for it on Switch? And it's like, no, just cut it from that Mario history reveal. It's kind of like a little shade, unnecessary shade to Galaxy 2 for kind of no apparent reason. Like they're not trying to sweep it under the rug as like a bad game, because no one says that it's a bad game. It's just kind of like it's the sequel, so it's kind of like people didn't get it. Some people didn't get it, and those who did loved it. But I don't know, maybe they're just wanting the first games, they're wanting the three versions in this compilation to be unique from one another, and to have a sequel in there just doesn't do that, I suppose. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of how high rated it is, I pulled up the list of the greatest games of all time on Metacritic, and so Mario Galaxy 2 is at 7, behind Mario Galaxy 1. Both of those and Red Dead Redemption 2 and a bunch of GTA and all that have a 97 out of 100 on Metacritic. So they're below GTA 4, Soul Calibur, another version GTA 4. So both the Xbox and PS3 versions. Then Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, and then Ocarina of Time is the highest. Ocarina of Time is at a 99. But yeah, it's crazy. Hopefully they do have plans down the line to do a Galaxy 2 port as well, maybe as just as standalone, and yeah, maybe they can figure out ways to get those motion controls to work on a control stick or something like that, so that way people can play that as well and complete the collection. Because once they do that, then you have all of the 3D era Mario games on the Switch, and like that just be cool to say because of Odyssey now, no other system can say that. And then have it where they're all Switch versions of the games too.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, like with how good the Switch is. It's like their next system. How are they gonna if this whole like history of Mario and all the stuff that they've made available through the NES or the SNES, like let's say 5 years down the line, whenever they make their next system, do you think that they're going to do that again and just re-release everything that has been so big and so popular with the Switch? Do you think they're just going to do it on their newest console as well? Because I mean, I know I'd buy it, but what do you
Yeah, I
guys
know
think?
it makes they almost have to, because unless they do some sort of thing where it's adding new support for whatever the successor would have, it would just be kind of kind of crummy to make people pay again for it. Like, it was a good thing that technically you are paying again to get all the Nintendo and Super Nintendo games if you bought them on the virtual console. But they're making you pay for the online service to get them. They're not. You didn't have to go out and spend another $5 to get Mario One again. You just pay your $20 a year and you can play it. So hopefully they can figure something out to where they can either bump it into the online service or re-release it again with some other new bells and whistles that the new system can take a hold of, but not make you buy Mario 3D All Stars again on the Switch 2 or whatever they want to call it, and make you pay another 60, 70, $80 to
It
get the
would be the
same game
Switch
again
U,
with slightly better
obviously,
graphics. What?
The Switch U.
Oh yes, the Switch U. Yes, the Wii Switch U.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just kind of your final thoughts on. So what are your thoughts on the Direct as a whole? And, it was a pretty big event there with everything. So obviously the big thing was the 3D All Stars, but with everything that got announced and showed off, how would you rate this Direct compared to some of the other ones we've had really recently, or just as a whole?
Considering that this kind of dropped out of nowhere, I mean, I know we were expecting it for a long time, but considering we woke up one morning and there's just this direct, I thought it was amazing. I think the levels they're going to celebrate Mario's 35th anniversary really feel special. So yeah, direct as a whole, it made it to me. It felt like it's been so long since we got a direct. This felt like the first real direct in such a long time. I loved it. I love the direct, even with all the weird stuff like Mario 35 only being available for a limited time, and obviously the ports or the remasters. Yeah, I loved the direct. It was really fun.
Yeah, I pretty much the same. Like you said, it's even though we haven't gotten a general direct in over a year now, this is the first direct that we've had that felt like a good one. Basically since the pandemic started. The last one we got before that was Animal Crossing, and we got a Smash one. But yeah, this has been great. It's new games, well, a lot of ports to old games, but it's new releases and new things to get excited about, and so many classics are coming back from the 80s, from the 90s, from the 2000s, and like it's so many good things that are coming back, and no matter what generation you are, if you're a Mario fan at any point, there is something in this direct that you can get excited about. Absolutely love that, because I'm a fan of pretty much all the history of Mario. So everything that came out was a big deal for me, and it seems like for both of you, something you get to play again or play for the first time is something you're both looking forward to. So, I'm this is great. This is finally I can add like things to my list that I can spend money on, because I've been I've been it's like burning a hole in my pocket because there's nothing that's coming out until this, and so it's like, well, I have money for video games, but I don't have video games to
Video games
buy.
you want to
So it's
buy,
like,
yeah.
what do I? Yeah, so now I can, and I'm looking forward to playing all of my favorites from my childhood, and getting. I'm excited to be like a 6-year-old kid again with Mario Kart, driving a real actual like RC car around the house. Like it's just the inner kid in all of us is coming out because of this, and it was a good, successful direct, and I'm really looking forward to everything.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, is there really anything outside of maybe a Galaxy 2 included with the collection that you really would have added to this? Maybe like, is there other games maybe drop in like Game Boy games or this or that? Is there really anything else you think that like them adding would have made the Direct stronger in a way?
GameCube controller support for Sunshine.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah. What? Any for you, Johnny?
For me, yeah, I guess more like maybe more sports titles, like not new. Well, new ones would be great, but even bring back like Super Mario Strikers, this soccer game that they had, or maybe a baseball game or a golf or something. Maybe some Paper Mario, maybe a trailer for a new Mario Party that's gonna come to Switch. You know, maybe some like Luke, you talked about a Sonic and Mario kind of crossover dream game that you would love to have made. That would be super cool. But
Yeah, but it seemed like outside of the Mario Kart, it seemed like their focus outside of that, and then the retrospective was more on the main series. But yeah, it would have been nice to get some of this one of the spin-offs making more than a cameo.
Yeah, it was weird that there was like almost no mention
Yeah,
of like the sports titles in particular.
yeah, but I don't I would say that this is a above average direct, and like
Hmm.
yeah, there are some dream opportunities of things that they could have done, but as far as like from the like the no content we've had from Nintendo the past 6 months, this has been really great. I mean, obviously we're getting Pikmin soon, and we got Paper Mario recently, but really it's been a very dead year, which is like for Nintendo, but it's been that's of course it's understandable, but like this is something that really livened it up a little.
For
So
sure.
I wouldn't say that I would add anything, because what we got is really all I can ask for, because I have something to look forward to now.
True, and who knows? Maybe there were going to be announcements of a new Mario Sluggers or something like that. But then, because of the pandemic and things getting delayed, that then just got postponed, because there actually was a chunk of one of the Mario websites or Nintendo websites that was found that the Ninja speedrun that's going to be on Mario Maker soon was originally supposed to be in April, and because of everything's just kind of been pushed back. And so like that was something we were supposed to get 5 months ago, and now we're just about to finally get it. So maybe there was going to be something else too, and then because of it was going to be so early in development, and then they made little progress with it, that they decided just not announce it yet, and then later on they'll announce it. But yeah, like you guys both said, I'm just happy we got a lot of this stuff. It's good to see we have things to look forward to for Nintendo. There's been a lot of jokes with like the, oh, technically Nintendo's releasing a new console as well with the Game and Watch. It's like you can either buy, the Game and Watch or the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, and so that's been a lot of fun as well. But yeah, listeners below, let us know below or on social media what your thoughts were on this Mario Direct as well. Obviously us three, and I'm sure Connor was also very excited about all this. So now we can move on into recommendations. So last week, Johnny gave us Kong for a Day and Clumps Lumps from the Donkey Kong Country cartoon from the 90s. So first off, Johnny, why?
um, well, like I hope you don't get insulted by this, Luke. But a few weeks ago, when you insulted or when you recommended the racing,
Wow.
the what was it, the
Hot Wheels
racing,
Highway 35 World Race, boy.
yeah, Hot Wheels show. The animation style reminded me of Donkey Kong. And not to say that they were like equally bad, but it was just something that was like very 2000s.
That very
Or
late
I don't
90s,
know if that came out
2000s, like
earlier.
super plasticky
Yeah,
look for everything.
exactly. Yeah, that reminded me of Donkey Kong, and I was like, you know what? That would be such a good thing to, rather than saying I want to recommend this new thing that I really love because I love it. This is an older thing that is bad. That is just bad. So like I, I. I just picked two random episodes, and I was like, "Here you go. I'm gonna torture you guys now." And what's even greater is that I'm sure Connor was. I'm pretty sure Connor watched it. But even greater is that we have you on, Michael, and so I got to torture you as well.
It wasn't torture until they started singing. That's when I was like,
Yeah.
oh
Yes.
my god, really?
And they do it like, and I was looking at it, it's like that's like an every episode thing. Yeah. So for those who
Mm-hmm.
don't know, there was a Donkey Kong cartoon that was on in the late 90s called Donkey Kong Country. And so it had, all the DKC characters in it, like Donkey Kong and Diddy and Cranky and King K. Rool, or or Karul, like they would say in the show. And and so it's very early, early late 90s, early 2000s CGI. Like it was like one of the first cartoons that was done all with motion capture, and you wouldn't be able to tell because the animation was rough, especially the I don't know, because I know the show was made in Canada, and so it was made in the French part of Canada. So I want to say the show was originally made in French and then translated English, which would help then explain why the lip sync is Sonic Adventure bad. Like it like the lip syncing is just as bad as it is in the first Sonic Adventure game. Like it's horrible. But yeah, the show was interesting, especially with all of the singing they would do.
I had seen a couple episodes of the show when I was younger, and I remember my memories of it were fond. I was like, oh man, I love Donkey Kong Country. I play that on my SNES. Like, it's really cool to have a show. And going into it now, I knew it was bad, but I didn't. It's so off-putting the way they move. And I looked it up, and they used mocap to record the scenes. So it's really people acting out these scenes as King K. Rool and Donkey Kong, and that's the best
I
way
wish
to
I could
describe
see,
the show.
I wish I could see the motion, like the footage of the mocap people, because there's sometimes there's a few times where it's like, oh yeah, I can see where this is motion capped, and where that was a good idea because it looks normal. But then other times it just looked so like random. Like there was at one point where Dixie just like she walked some weird way, and it just like someone had to act this out, and that's it was. Oh, it was so weird.
It's just off-putting.
And then the other weird one is Funky Kong is
like,
tan.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like so many things about this game, this show are just like odd, and whether it is the motion capture or the music or the just weird creative liberties that they went with some of the characters. It's just like I don't know what Nintendo like ever thought about like letting this happen. I will say that as much as I trash it, I do appreciate it because I am a fan of Donkey Kong, a big fan of Donkey Kong Country. So like as a fan, I like the show, but like if I'm completely unbiased, I can recognize that this is just a like Frankenstein's monster of like just an absolute disaster of a creation.
I will say though, it is not as bad as the CDI Zelda animations for those games because those are horrid. So at least like this one was like a little more palatable. But yeah, the singing was weird. The voice acting was weird. It was a very weird thing.
Oh, and I noticed in I believe it was Clumps Lumps episode, Dixie loses her pet crab, and it never shows what the crab looks like because they probably didn't want to animate it. And
yeah, probably.
You're so right.
like as soon as like she was like I lost it, I was like, oh cool, we'll get to see what it looks like because it's always the same 5 or 6 characters that are in every episode. Like you have DK and Diddy and Dixie and Candy and Funky and Cranky, King K. Rool, Crusha, and Clump. And then you have nameless Kremlings, but other than that, there's really nobody else in the entire show.
Yeah, there was that other one on the
Buster,
the one that had like the mustache.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so not a whole lot of them there. Yeah, so you could definitely tell it was a cheap one, and I guess too their budget was even lower on the second season because if you go look at clips from the later episodes, the animation looks even worse.
Oh no!
I have seen it. Yeah, you think it can't get worse, and it does, and it like changes, and it's just like this is just like it looks so bad, and I'm just I love that it exists, but it's just oh my god, it's an embarrassment, honestly.
True. So, when we typically do a recommendation, Michael, we the 2 who didn't recommend it usually give a rating out of 10. So what would you give the Donkey Kong Country cartoon?
Oh, and I want to add that usually it's based on quality, but last time I said I want you to rate this based on entertainment despite or because of how bad it is.
I gotta give it 9 out of 10 banana slammers. I have to.
Okay,
Like
good.
I saw Donkey Kong's just round butt, and I was like, I can't. This is such a meme. Like it's a perfect piece of entertainment. I loved it.
Yeah, going off of that, like asterisk for the rating, I do an 8.5. Extra large pupils for Dixie Kong out of 10 because for some reason everyone else's like eyes looked like kind of normal, but for some reason her like it looked really funny when it was kind of like watching Avatar when you would have Mei Li next to Azula and other ones where Mei Li has these big anime girl eyes and then like everyone else has like some more like normal eyes. It was like that. Her eyes were just so much, her pupils are so much bigger than everyone else's, and she was like the smallest character there. But yeah, 8.5 out of 10 as well. So that was definitely interesting to say the least, Johnny.
Good.
So yeah, so then that would move on into Michael and myself then giving recommendations. So Michael, what do you have for us to do then?
All right. I hope to God ideally you guys have never heard of this, but you probably have. My recommendation is the demo on Nintendo Switch for Katamari Damacy Reroll.
Oh, Katamari, so much fun. Yes, I haven't. I actually have the demo downloaded. And I don't even think I played it. The Katamari games are so like goofy. I love them. That's a series that I've like casually played and really want to. I don't know if you've heard of it, Johnny, but yeah, those games are stupidly fun.
Yeah, I heard about it only for the first time a few years ago by Luke and I's friends Bobby and Holly. But like, because Holly like showed me it for the very first time, and I had no idea anything about it. And I've seen a few streamers play it before on YouTube, but I've never played it myself. So I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. So, I assume you're a big Katamari fan then, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, like kind of like with Mario Sunshine, it's just so off the wall and weird, and I can't get enough of it. It's just so much fun too. I can't get over how fun it is, even though it's just like so simple. But yeah, Katamari's great.
Yeah, they're actually there's actually getting a port to the Xbox and the PlayStation in November, so that'll be fun too. But yeah, it's I first saw it just to age myself. I first saw it on G4 back when it was G4 Tech TV, right back when they merged. So it was on either XPlay or one of the other shows. So like I've known about this game basically since it came out in in North America in like 2004. So like it's always been one I've always been like wanting to like just sit down and play. So I am excited for this. So we will play, even though we won't have you on next week. We'll definitely have to talk about our thoughts on the great demo, and then Connor can give his as well. But wonderful recommendation. I can already just say that now. I'm excited for that one. So my recommendation is also a demo on the Switch, and it's also kind of an off-the-wall game. So I don't know if either of you guys watched the indie showcase they had a few weeks ago on the for the Switch, where they had a bunch of just different indie stuff that's coming out soon. One of the ones on there was a demo for a game that then came out at the end of August, and so it's called Hypnospace Outlaw. And so the demo's on the Switch.
I've heard good things.
So it is basically it's set in an alternate history, 1999, that takes place like of a parody of like an internet service. So it's like you basically think you're going back in time and like playing a internet simulator for late 90s AOL. And so you're a enforcer for the company Merchantsoft, who made Hypnospace. And so your whole job is to police illegal content, copyright violations, viruses, cyberbullying, and all that. So you'll go to these different sites and they're using a copyright image here, strike it, and this and that. And so it's a puzzle game, basically. And so, yeah, the demo got announced and with the game coming out in late August. And I went and played it. And it feels like you went into a time machine with the different stuff. There's one of the different like subgroups that's on the internet is this like I can't remember the name right now, but it's just like back in the good old day type of thing. Like the splash page for it is like a farmhouse and this like twangy like country music's playing, and it's a bunch of it's like it's a very boomer page, like where boomers would have been on, you know, on late 90s AOL. And so it's a very goofy game, and like you can put on screensavers and make your mouse trail super crazy, so it'd be like what you would have done in the 90s. And there's just a bunch of stuff like that, and so there's a full game of it for $20, but the demo is just like one of the first missions of it. So go play that demo after you play Katamari, and then you'll have to let me know what your thoughts are on that one. So got some fun Switch demos this week, so I hope you're excited.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
So yeah, and so then that will wrap up the episode 29 of Rocket Talk. Before we go, though, Michael, why don't you plug where any listeners can find you if they want to find more of your stuff?
Okay, yeah. So I am definitely most active. You'll see all my news stories over at The Escapist every day. But you can follow me on Twitter, which is where I'm going to be even more active, at Mike Cripe. That's MikeCripe. Give me a follow. We can have some fun over there. We can talk about Mario Sunshine all day long. That's really about it.
Oh yeah.
True. Yeah. So, and then he writes for The Escapist, so go look at his news stories on there and give him the support there. So, yeah, definitely, you know, great to have Michael on again after The Last of Us and now this one. So, you know, if you enjoyed his work, definitely give him a follow. You know, he doesn't have the Crash Team Racing picture anymore, sadly, but
that was such a fun event, and that might have been the highlight, is just taking a picture in that stupid go-kart.
But, you know, yeah, definitely if you want someone who loves Mario Sunshine more than most people, then, you know, he's definitely your guy to give a follow to. So thanks again, Michael, for joining us. And
yeah, thanks for having me on.
You definitely give him follows, you know, and then be sure to check out our stuff as well on Facebook and Twitter and Twitch and all that. I actually was streaming Warzone last week, and so if you want to go see me play that or other games, you know, eventually I am going to be getting Hypnospace Outlaw, and I'll probably stream that weird ass game as well. So, but yeah, be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, share with a buddy, and play these fun demos with us. So, goodbye for now.